Welcome back to another video. My name is Henrik and today we're going to be looking at the brand new Audi A5. We have it standing here in the Edition 1. There's two different versions you can get, the Edition 1 or just the basic car basically. Edition 1 comes with a couple of different things. We're going to look at all of that. We're going to take it for a test drive. We're going to look at everything you need to know about this car all in this video. So make sure to stay tuned and let's get right into it. First of all, the color that you get with the Edition 1 is the magnet gray color, which we have on here. And you also get the exterior package black with these magnesium gray touches on here, which I'm not the biggest fan of because this is a very, well, intrusive kind of look. Even if you get the exterior package black without the Edition 1, you're going to get this in black, but a different black than your grille in the front. So if you have a white color, it's going to look very dominant. There's going to be a picture here, so you can see the difference there. I think it's still very dominant. You need to choose a dark color for it not to stand out, or if you want to make it stand out, you can. In the Edition 1, you're going to get 5 different color options. With the normal one, 15 different colors plus the individual colors that you can choose. In the front, we have this new design here with the grille, a little bit covered up on the bottom, open on the top, the new Audi logo up there. And one thing I don't really like too much, you have your sensor caps in the middle, but there's none on the right, so it's not symmetrical. So I'm not the biggest fan of that, but otherwise a very clean design in the front with also optional matrix LED lights for the Edition 1, which now have 8 different light signatures. We're going to put a close-up of all of those different ones in there. And you can also, if you have the OLED back rear lights, you can also choose 8 different lights on there. Starting price of the car is going to be 45,200 euros. If you want to get the Avant version, 1,600 euros extra. Then you can also get our engine variant, which is going to cost you around 54,000 euros. Our test vehicle with all the extras, 78,000 euros. And then only 500 euros more and you can pick up an Audi A5. So it depends on if you really want to configure the car like it's standing here, or you might as well just choose an S5. With the car, you're going to be able to choose between 3 different engine variants. You can get a petrol, a diesel, and those are all in different variants. We have dampers on the bonnet here, which is also nice. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, which we have here, which is a TFSI version with 150 kilowatt or 204 horsepower and 340 Newton meters. That's going to get you from 0 to 100 in around 7.6 seconds. And also a top speed of 245 kilometers an hour. Then you can also get this as a quattro or front wheel drive system. Then you can also get the lowest variant, which is the starting car basically, with 150 horsepower. And that's going to be front wheel drive. And then you can also get the TDI variant, which is going to be probably the most popular one because it's lowest consumption and also the most powerful one, with 6.9 seconds from 0 to 100, 204 horsepower as well, but 400 Newton meters, so 60 Newton meter increase, and it's just a very efficient TDI. So I think that's what most people are going to choose. The Audi A5 is also going to be the first car on the new PPC platform, which is the premium platform combustion, and there's also the PPE platform for all the electrical cars. The A5 is now the combination of the A4 and the A5. You can get it as a Limousine or the Avant version. That's going to mean that compared to the A4, it's also grown a little bit, just like all the cars recently. The wheelbase has grown by 8 centimeters and the length has grown by 7 centimeters, and therefore the car is just going to feel a little bit more spacious in the inside, or it should. When it comes to dimensions, it's going to be 4 meters and 83 of length. It's going to be 1 meter and 86 wide without the side mirrors extended, with them 2 meters and 10 centimeters, and also 1 meter and 41 of height. The wheelbase is also at 2 meters and 90 centimeters, which is quite long. So again, it should give you quite a lot of space in the inside. There's a couple of changes they made to the car, well, it's a new car. It's not changes they've made. But for instance, we don't have any more door handles. These are just flushed into the chassis now. It's going to also allow the CV value for the Limousine variant to be at 0.27, Avant version at 0.29. Side mirrors are not going to be automatically foldable in, only when you're in the inside. If you lock the car, it's not going to fold inwards. You also have the S-Line badge on here, but the thing is, it's still the old one, so you actually have the old logo on there, which is quite funny. They didn't decide to update that, or they just had so many lying around that they just wanted to reuse them to save some money. With the Edition 1, you also have the choice between 19 and 20-inch rims, otherwise 17 up to 20. We have winter tires on here now, which are going to be 18-inch rims, not looking the most spectacular, obviously. And we also have red caliper brakes on here for 350 euros extra. Otherwise, I think a very nice and sleek design on the side. Also the new Audi logos, which they have now, or the emblem on here with the A5 and also the engine variant. just like with all new Audi logo cars in there. Rear tinted black windows and just in general a fairly nice design. On the other side, we're also going to be able to fuel up the car with a 56 liter of fuel tank with a combined consumption for the TFSI variant, 100 or 204 horsepower, with 7.6 up to 6.9 up to 7.7. And on the rear, another new design here. We have the old LED rear light section, and if you get the normal one, so the LED one, it's going to be fairly vertical strips in there, which we'll see also in the in the picture up there. This is also going to have 8 different designs or animations, like we already said previously, for on the front. We're going to look at all of those here in a second as well, or just overlay them right now. Otherwise, black design. You also get the A5 in black, and you also have the quattro on the side if you choose to get the quattro variant. What I like new about the Audis is that they chose to not have any fake exhaust anymore, so that looks very nice and just a little bit more premium. Those are actually real ones. We also have a little bit of a diffuser down here in this black section as well. In general, a fairly nice design in my opinion. If we open the trunk, we're going to be able to get a storage capacity in here of 417 liters up to 1,271 liters, and just a nice looking design here with also obviously the cover or the net in here, which is always in there. And down here you also have, well, just a very limited space because there's just going to be some repair kits and stuff like that, but you could theoretically store some stuff beside it. Otherwise, you can also flip over the rear seats in a 40-20-40 split, which is nice, and well, a middle pass there if you want to flip over the middle seat to get some skis or stuff like that in there. Then you're going to be able to put this down. If you do opt for the towing hook, you're also going to be towing up to 1,900 kilograms. At 8% incline, at 12% it's going to be 1,700. And you're going to be able to load 80 kilograms on there, and on the roof a total of 90 kilograms, which is also quite nice. And the car is also going to weigh in at around 1,750 kilograms. So let's take a look at that legroom and footroom. You can see knee room is quite good. 1.80 m adjusted to me in the front, 5'11". That's my height. And footroom is also quite plenty, so I can move my feet around there a little bit. Thigh support is also fairly decent. When it comes to the center, if you opt for the heated rear seats, there we go, you're obviously going to have them. You have your own climatization in here, and you also have 2 USB-Cs up there. Really like the seats in here. They're fairly comfortable. Headrest you can obviously move back a little bit. Headroom, however, is not that much because we also have the Limousine variant in here. So I have around, well, let me do that again. This much space, that's around 4 centimeters maybe at max. We have a center console in here with 2 cup holders. Again, fairly comfortable. One thing you gotta mention is the tunnel in here is very, very big. So if you sit here in the center, well, it's not going to be a very comfortable ride because you're also going to be limiting your pass or your other people's space here. And then I basically have no headroom if I'm sitting in here, but that is a very big center tunnel. Let's also quickly look at the quality here on the door. We have this like fake leather up here, which is fairly hard. Down here, Bang & Olufsen sound system. Then good quality, which we also get in the seats here. And then again here, hard plastic. This would have been nice if it would have been some other material. And down here, obviously hard plastic. So it's an okay quality on the side. Maybe something that you might have expected a little bit more for a car that's at 78,000 euros. So join me in the inside of the new A5, and you're no longer overloaded with just 2 screens. You have a 3rd screen if you get the Tech Plus. Then you're going to be able to go in here, have your navigation, you can control the music, you can do basically whatever you want over this display. And even while driving, you're going to be able to watch YouTube. We currently don't have a hotspot connected to it, but we have tried it. What it does, it basically blends out my view from here, but for the passenger, for Lars, he's going to be able to watch YouTube. The only thing I don't like about that is that you can't, well, we haven't personally found one or haven't seen anything on the internet, that you can just connect like your headphones towards that system and the driver is still going to be able to listen to music. You're always going to listen to what he's watching, but you can't watch it yourself. Otherwise, you have this big 14.9-inch infotainment display, 11.9-inch digital cockpit, and that's also a 10.9-inch driver display or passenger display. In here, navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I usually just use Google Maps in here, for instance. But you also have the possibility to use maps in here, and it does work very quickly. And one thing that's actually pretty cool, what I found is, for instance, we have in my city, we have these kind of like park and ride spots. But there was one where it's actually showed me, there we go. It's going to show you how many parking spots there are available. So in here, there's 107 parking spots available, and it's even going to show you the price of that, which is pretty cool. That was a fun one that I found. Otherwise, you can connect your phone, have Apple CarPlay. We also have the Bang & Olufsen sound system in here, which is going to cost you extra, but it does sound fairly decent. Otherwise, a lot of piano black, don't really like that too much. One thing that's also pretty funny, the start-stop system is also a funny thing. This is not available in the S5. I saw a picture of somebody who is currently having the S5. They just decided, let's remove that button, and he's kind of annoyed by that. Otherwise, we have a little bit of storage space down here, and that's about it. We get a wonderful augmented reality heads-up display, and let's also start up the car. We have the TFSI variant, so 204 horsepower. And we're going to quickly look at the rear view camera as well. The rear view camera is actually a fairly narrow one. Well, it's not narrow, but everything is just very put together in it. And it's just a little bit irritating when you're driving backing up into a parking spot. The cars just look very slim, and the parking spot also looks like you're not going to be able to fit in there. Otherwise, it does have lines which indicate where you're going. You can also spray the camera in the rear. That's also a nice feature. And it's also going to show you the centimeters, how far you have towards an object on the front, rear, wherever you want. And you can also press on here, have cameras for the rear wheels, have your camera for the front. All very nice and needy. Otherwise, we can now drive the car. One thing that you can also very quickly turn off is the EU assistant, so the speed warning assistant. Press on this button. Let's go back. So you press on the button, and then you have your quick binds for your favoritization, and I have it on the speed sign warning system, so I'm going to turn that off every time I get into the car. Otherwise, you're going to have that annoying beeping sound every time you step over the speed limit by 1 km/h. So, how does the car drive? We have the S Sport chassis in here, or drivetrain, suspension, sorry, which also has damper regulation in here, which is a little bit more of a sportier suspension, but still a very, very premium feeling one and a very comfortable one. Even at higher speeds, it smoothens out the road very nicely, and it just sticks to the ground as well. With a CV value of 0.27, you're also going to be looking at a very aerodynamic car for the segment, which is going to get a CV value of 0.27 and 0.29 if you get the Avant version. And the car has also some very good sound isolation. Even at higher speeds, we did our Autobahn test at 210, and even at 210, that was a fairly nice driving experience. Otherwise, road tire noise really doesn't exist too much in here, and the suspension really does a good job when driving in here. You can also choose a couple of different drive modes. If you, for instance, press down here, you can go between dynamic, balance, comfort, and also efficiency. Let's go into dynamic. It's going to have the RPMs a little bit higher. It's going to be a little bit more in there right now. I do not switch. It's going to just give you a little bit more sportier feeling. You will hear the engine quite quickly there. But even the cornering capability of this car is quite fun in here. Really would love to drive the S5 to experience what that is capable of, with a wonderful 6-cylinder as well. That would be very nice. But otherwise, this car is fairly agile, does a good job. Only in the city, 12.9 or 12.1 meter of turning circle is not going to be the most agile one. It's not going to allow you to be that maneuverable, but you're still going to be able to, well, I haven't had personally a big issue with that. Still had quite plenty of maneuverability in the city. What this car also does quite well is a surrounding view, which is fairly decent. Even for the Limousine, you still have a fairly good rear window there, which you're going to be able to see out. You get all your safety features. You have adaptive cruise control. You have blind spot assistance. You also have these new side mirrors, which have a little bit of a different design, a little bit bigger, but still fairly decent surrounding view here. Also, the A-pillar is fairly small. Let's go back into the balance mode and look at the consumption of the car. Over the last 560 kilometers that we have driven, we had an average speed of around 49 kilometers an hour and 8.5 liters. 400 kilometers of those were our consumption test at various speeds. The lowest I was able to get, I think, was, actually I don't remember, 4.2 or something like that. Or maybe a little bit higher, 4.6. If you want the full video on the top right corner, claimed is around a 7.7 down to 6.7, right? Or 6.9 up to 7.7, there we go. And what I think most people are going to do is get the TDI variant, because 5.1 liters is just a very nice value, and it's also going to be the most powerful one. And I think if you're driving this car as a commuter mostly, then that's a great engine to go for. little bit more expensive. I think 1,000 euros extra. It's not much, but you're going to be saving that on fuel quite quickly. The steering wheel is also a new one. You can choose a completely circular one, or you can get this one, which is slanted on the top and also on the bottom. But these buttons are kind of controversial nowadays, on the new updated Audi models, because they are physical buttons. Well, kind of. They're physical buttons in the sense that you can still have this clicking sound, and you know what you're touching. But you can also swipe, so they kind of are a touch and a physical button in the, well, combined. I kind of like them because they look fairly decent, but the older ones just felt a little bit more high quality and they felt better in your hand. You also have them on the side here for your memory functions and all your, well, basically side mirror functions. And yeah, it's the same thing. They don't feel that high quality and therefore just not the greatest to touch in my opinion. Otherwise, quality in here is quite premium. We have this kind of like, I think of it always like a Volvo kind of design. It's like this kind of Swedish, Scandinavian design. Like, it looks fairly decent, just in my opinion a little bit too much piano black. You can also see here, for instance, in the digital cockpit, we are going to have a speed change here in a second, and what it does, you can see there, 50 kilometers an hour. It's kind of like, you like to call it a power up, like Mario Kart, pick up that booster, and then you have the 50 kilometers an hour sign there. Pretty cool, I like that. It's kind of virtual reality. You can also press on view and then everything is gone away, and you can basically just drive it through the heads-up display because it also shows you everything that you need. The thing that they have kind of changed though is, however, you don't have that much variety in here. For instance, in the older variant, like the A4 that we also had, you were able to have your navigation on a full view, like the full digital cockpit was that, just the map. That's not existent anymore. And also the RPMs and stuff like that, you don't really have a gauge for that anymore, which is kind of sad. But otherwise, you can also change stuff in the infotainment display, and there's a lot of things you can change in there, for instance. And down here, you can also press these and then go through kind of different things that you got. But really, there's not as much adjustability or customization as there was in the previous model. Now there's a lot more things in here, and obviously in the passenger display. If you opt, for instance, for the Tech Pro that we have in here, you're going to get the Matrix LED lights, and you will also get the Intelligent Drive Assistance Premium or Plus, whatever it's called. That's going to give you adaptive cruise control with all the intelligent features to it. You do not have lane assist, so lane changing assist, you do not have that. You have blind spot assistance there, the 360-degree camera, rear collision warner, front collision warner, and also in here it's pretty cool. If there's a car in front of you, for instance, going to show you that car in front of you. It also has blinker animations. Look at that, yippee, that's nice. And you also have that up top there. If I'm blinking, for instance, you can see we have this LED bar going all the way front the dashboard, which also lights up when you're, for instance, indicating. And let's listen to the engine sound. It's obviously going to get a little bit louder, but that's only when you're accelerating. It's not like a CVT gearbox where it's going to stay at that constant high RPM, like that draining sound. But it's very agile. It's very fun to drive, even a little bit faster. Yeah, it only has 204 horsepower. It's 1,750 kilograms without the passenger and without the driver. But it still drives very, very nicely. So I would really love to see what they have done with the S5, maybe in the future. But it definitely is fun to drive. Otherwise, you can see here lane assist, like I already mentioned. There's also this in here which shows you, okay, there's a turn coming up now, so there's kind of curves, and also shows that if there's a traffic light in front of you, or if there is, for instance, a junction, it's also going to show a sign up there, and as well as up in the heads-up display. But otherwise, it's a really comfortable car to drive, feels premium even at higher speeds, enjoy the cruise, and even get some sporty feeling from it. So what is my final verdict on the new Audi A5? Well, I like what they have made with this car. Don't personally like the big intakes on the side that just look a little bit too dominant. Otherwise, a very premium feeling suspension, very comfortable, lots of safety features which are going to just allow you to have a very nice cruising speed, pleasant interior basically. And it is a very nice interior, premium, great for a pendler car, people that like to commute a lot. It is obviously going to be a little bit more expensive. It is a premium focused car, and if you're put it like this, 78,000, that in my opinion is a little bit too expensive. You might as well just pick up the S5 then, get a little bit more fun. And I would always personally get the Avant version just to get a little bit more room, and in my opinion also looks a little bit better. Hopefully guys, you enjoyed the video. Make sure to tell me what you think of the new Audi A5. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.